Hey there. Welcome to your deep dive. You know how you were asking about the power of words? Well, that's what we're going to get into today.
Mhm.
It's pretty wild, actually, this whole idea of Gong Tao. It's like words having almost like a magical effect. You know what I mean? Kind of like everyday sorcery. And it got me thinking, have you ever like felt the weight of someone's words, even if they weren't even talking to you directly?
Oh, yeah. It happens more than we realize, I think. It's like Gong Tao is this like focused energy, you
Right.
know? And think of it this way, like imagine you have a socket and it can only take one plug at a time. So when someone is like right there interacting with you, their Gong Tao is like filling up that space.
So it's kind of like when you see a fighter in the ring, right? They're
Huh.
so focused on their opponent that the crowd's like all the cheering and yelling. It's just background noise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not until that interaction stops, like when that fighter goes back to their corner, that's when all those words, all that outside Gong Tao can actually like sink in, you know?
You know what? That makes me think about those times when I've been in like really high pressure situations, like giving a presentation or having a tough conversation. It's like the energy in the room, even for people, I don't know, it hits me later,
Yeah.
a delayed reaction almost.
It's wild, right? And this idea of gong tao, it's not just limited to like words, you know, like
Yeah.
stuff we say to each other. You were asking about objects carrying gong tao too. So in your material, it basically says that thoughts and intentions can get like stuck into an object. Like
But
picture this, someone focusing all this negative energy, maybe even curses onto something simple, like a pen. And then later they give that pen to someone.
wait, so you're saying even if the person getting the pen has no clue about those curses?
It could still like mess with them. It's all about the intention that got put into the object.
Okay. Now that is kind of freaky.
Eh?
Makes you wonder about accepting gifts, right?
Maybe, just a little. But before you get too freaked out, remember, Gong Tao isn't always a bad thing, right?
Hmm.
There's a positive side too. You know, in your research, there's this idea of Yuan Sun. It's like your own life force, kind of like an energy signature. And that Yuan Sun can get mixed in with objects and words carrying your, intention and energy.
Okay. So that's like blessings and good luck charms, those kinds of things.
Exactly. Like a parent giving their kid a pendant. The object itself might not be like powerful or anything. But the parents' love and good intentions, they put their Yuan Sun into it, creating a kind of protection.
You know, that reminds me of something from when I was a kid. My parents used to put crosses on my bedroom door. Always thought it was weird. But looking back, maybe it was their way of trying to protect me with their Yuan sun.
Could be. Their love and intention channeled through those symbols, maybe creating like a safe space. And it's important to remember these symbols don't have to be tied to any specific religion, right?
Mm.
The power comes from the individual Yuan Sun and what they believe.
That's actually pretty comforting, you know? It makes you realize how much parents just instinctively want to protect their kids,
Yeah.
even from stuff they might not totally understand themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about Gong Tao through words and objects, but in your material, there's this heart-piercing Gong Tao. What's that about?
So gong tao in general can kind of linger and affect us later, right?
Right.
But heart-piercing gong tao, that's immediate, like aimed right at your emotions, your sense of self. It's about like attacking someone's feelings right then and there.
So we're talking like straight up insults. Someone saying you suck or you're a loser.
Yeah, those are definitely examples. But heart-piercing gong tao can be sneaky too, like a backhanded compliment or a tone of voice, or even like a look that makes you feel small. The point is it's meant to get past your defenses and make you doubt yourself.
That makes me wonder, if you know someone's trying to hurt you with words, wouldn't you be like on guard?
Yeah.
How does heart cruising Gong Tao actually work?
Because it catches you off guard a lot of times. You don't even realize you're being attacked until it's too late. Or sometimes it comes from people you trust, whose opinions you care about. So that makes it hurt even more.
This is giving me a lot to think about. You know, it really makes you realize how much power words have, even casual ones.
And here's the really crazy part. We can even do this kind of gong tao to ourselves. All that negative self-talk you were asking about, like when we put ourselves down all the time. That's a powerful form of heart-piercing gong tao right there.
So you mean when we say stuff like, I'm such a failure or I'll never be good enough, it's like we're cursing ourselves.
Exactly. And that negative energy, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like it chips away at your confidence and stops you from doing what you're really capable of.
Wow, that's heavy. So if words can hurt us that much, even our own words, can they also be used to heal?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And it brings us to the flip side of heart-piercing gong tao, the positive side. Just like negative words can hurt, positive words can lift you up and give you power. Think about it like giving yourself a pep talk, you know, or encouraging someone else.
It's like that saying, be careful what you wish for, but it's more like, be careful what you say to yourself and to others.
Exactly. And this is where the Yuan Sun idea comes in again. When
Mm.
we say encouraging and supportive things, we're putting our positive energy, our Yuan Sun, into those words, and that can have a huge impact on us and the people around us.
So instead of beating ourselves up with all that negative self-talk, we can choose to lift ourselves up with positive stuff. Like those times when you mess up, you
Mm.
know, like burn dinner or screw up a project at work. Instead of saying, I'm so stupid, you could say, well, I can learn something from that. Next time I'll do better.
Exactly. It's about looking at the situation differently and focusing on the good. And it's the same with how we talk to other people. Giving someone encouragement, especially when they're about to do something tough, can give them a boost of confidence and motivation, like a shot of positive yuan sun to help them through it.
So instead of saying something like, good luck with that presentation, you're going to need it, which, let's be honest, can sound kind of mean.
It can.
We could say, I know you've prepared well. You're going to do great.
Much better. It's about paying attention to the energy we're putting out there, both with our words and what we mean by them.
This is really making me rethink how I use language. It's
Mm.
like we're all using the super powerful tool and we don't even realize it. But before we get too deep into like how to actually use Gong Tao, there's one more thing I want to talk about with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about how Gong Tao can, affect us in good and bad ways.
Mhm.
But what about protection? Is there anything we can actually do to like shield ourselves from the harmful effects of Gong Tao?
Mm.
Especially that heart-piercing kind of.
Well, the most important thing is awareness. When you feel like someone's words or actions are carrying that negative energy that Gong Tao is aimed at you, the first step is to detach. Like, don't absorb their negativity.
So it's not about ignoring what's happening, but like choosing not to let those negative words get to you.
Right. It's about recognizing the energy, but not letting it control you.
Yeah.
You could even try picturing a shield around yourself, deflecting those bad vibes. Another good technique is to just change your focus. Think of a happy memory. Listen to some upbeat music. Do something you enjoy. Anything that brings you joy and lifts your energy can help fight off those negative vibes.
So it's like we need to learn some emotional martial arts, you know, learning how to deflect and redirect those bad vibes. But sometimes those negative words come from us. We've talked about how dangerous negative self-talk can be, but are there ways to fight that with positive Gong Tao?
Absolutely. Remember, Yuan Sun is all about intention and energy. So just like negative self-talk can weaken us, positive self-talk can make us stronger. It's like giving yourself a pep talk before you do something challenging. Instead of focusing on your weaknesses and what you're afraid of, focus on your strengths and what you've already achieved. Remind yourself what you're capable of.
So like before a big presentation, instead of saying, I'm going to mess this up, I say, I got this, I'm prepared, and I'm going to rock it.
Exactly. It's all about changing your inner voice. From doubt to confidence, from fear to power. And remember, this works for everyday stuff too. Instead of getting down on yourself for making a mistake, focus on what you learned and how you can do better next time.
This is making me realize how important it is to pay attention to what we tell ourselves. It's like
Yeah.
we're always putting spells on ourselves, good or bad.
You got it. And the more aware we are of the power of our thoughts and words, the more we can use them to create the life we want.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful stuff. It seems like Gong Tao is a double-edged sword. You know,
Yeah.
it can be used to hurt or to heal, to weaken or to empower. It all depends on what you're trying to do.
You're exactly right. It's not just about the words themselves, but also the energy we put behind them. The same words can have totally different effects depending on the intention. You know, if you give someone a compliment and you really mean it with warmth and sincerity, your Yuan Sun makes those words stronger and they'll have a real impact. But if you give the same compliment but you're being sarcastic or fake, it might come across as an insult even if the words themselves are positive.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like when you can tell someone is saying one thing but meaning something else. Their words might sound nice, but you can feel that something's off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about learning to feel the energy behind the words, not just the words themselves. It's about tuning into that subtle world of Gong Tao and becoming more sensitive to the energy in our interactions.
This whole conversation is making me rethink everything I thought I knew about communication.
Yeah.
It's like we're not just exchanging words, we're exchanging energy.
And that energy can have a huge impact on our lives. It can shape how we think, how we feel, what we believe, even our physical health.
I'm starting to see words everywhere, like they're buzzing with this invisible energy. It's a little overwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah.
If even just casual words can be so powerful, does that mean we have to be super careful about everything we say and think?
It's not about being super careful, but about being more aware and intentional. You don't have to be perfect, just mindful. Start by paying attention to how you talk to yourself. Notice those negative thoughts and try to replace them with positive ones. And when you're talking to other people, try to speak with kindness, sincerity, and purpose.
Okay, that feels doable. It's about progress, not perfection, right?
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. There are resources, practices, and communities that can help you on this journey of becoming more aware and improving your Gong Tao skills.
This deep dive has been a real mind trip, but in a good way. It's made me see communication in a totally new way.
And that's just the start. The more you explore this world of Gong Tao, the more amazing and empowering it becomes.
Listeners, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty excited. It's like we've been given this awesome power, this ability to shape our reality with our words and our intentions. But before we get too carried away with all the possibilities, there's one really important question we need to talk about. If we really can, influence things with our words, doesn't that mean Gong Tao could be used to manipulate people, even if you don't mean to?
Yeah, that's a big question. Like any tool, Gong Tao can be used in good ways or bad ways. It all comes down to how you use it. Remember, intention is key. Like if your heart's in the right place and you have good intentions, your words are more likely to have a good effect. But if you're using Gong Tao to manipulate or trick people or to hurt them, then you're not just being unethical, you're also messing with your own karma.
So it's not just about the words themselves, it's about the way you say them, the energy behind them.
Exactly. Like think about someone using flattery and empty promises to get someone to trust them just so they can take advantage of them later. That's a perfect example of using Gong Tao the wrong way.
So it's like we have a duty to use this power carefully, not just for ourselves, but to help others.
That's right. Think of Gong Tao as a gift.
Yeah.
This powerful force that you can use to heal, to inspire, to make the world a better place. The more we understand this power, the better we can use it to help ourselves and everyone around us.
This whole conversation has been a real wake-up call. I'm seeing the world in a totally different way now, with words flying around us, carrying all this hidden energy.
And that's the amazing thing about this knowledge. It helps us to become more conscious creators of our own reality. We're not just passively listening to words, we're actively involved in creating them and shaping how they affect us.
So what do we do now? How can we start using this idea of Gong Tao in our everyday lives?
It all starts with being aware. Pay attention to the words you use, both to yourself and to others. Notice how they make you feel. Try out different ways of expressing yourself. See what feels right for you. And remember, this is a journey. There's no one right way to do it. Trust your gut and follow your heart.
This deep dive has been incredible. I feel like we've just barely scratched the surface of this whole topic.
And that's the exciting part. There's so much more to learn. The world of Gong Tao is huge, and there's always something new to discover. I encourage you to keep learning, keep trying new things, keep exploring the power of words.
Listeners, I don't know about you, but this has been pretty mind-blowing for me. We've talked about a lot today, from the basics of Gong Tao to how it can be used ethically and how we can use it in our lives. But before we go, I want to leave you with one last thing to think about.
Go for it.
If even the words we say without really thinking can have such a big impact on us and the world around us, just imagine what we could do if we really put our minds to it and used language intentionally. What kind of world could we create if we all decided to use our words to lift each other up, to encourage each other to heal?
That's a powerful question. And I think the answer is inside each of us. We have the power to make the world a more beautiful, more caring, and more harmonious place. And it all starts with the words we choose.
This has been an amazing deep dive. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and insights with us.
I've really enjoyed talking with you.
And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. I hope this deep dive has made you curious and given you the tools to explore the magic of words in your own life. Until next time, keep those good vibes going, and remember the power of language is in your hands.